Are you feeling brave? Because you could choose a BMW, Audi or a Tesla as your next car, or you could really set the neighbours talking and choose this instead. It's the new DS number 8, and it's a French fancy if you like, and since we're here in Paris, you could say it's a bit of an eyeful. I'm going to take a closer look now, but before I do, please like and subscribe and do all those things, and let us know what you think in the comments.
It's fair to say that the DS brand hasn't been a runaway success in the UK, or anywhere really, except perhaps in the car park of the French embassy. The posh arm of Citroen sold less than 100 cars in October, which is suboptimal, shall we say. Could this car change that? Well, the new naming strategy is part of the plan, with the number 8 clearly meant to mirror some other luxury French brands, such as Chanel perfume. I'm not sure if it'd work if there's a small car called the number 2 though, but perhaps that's just me being a child. Anyway, there are some other numbers which make the DS look seriously tempting, like a range of 469 miles and a price which I've been told will undercut the usual German rivals and take on that other curveball choice in this market, the Polestar 4. So think around £60,000-ish.
Apart from looking really different, this car is all about the aerodynamics because that improves the range. So, for example, the shape of the bumper here adds 5 miles to the range just by making the difference to the way the air goes. If you want to see some more, you see these? They open up when they need to cool, but they shut when they don't need that. That adds 11 miles of range to the car. Then you've got this nice lit bit here. Oh, these headlights, they have a boost function so that if you're driving straight and there's no other cars about, it gives you an extra 100 meters of vision. Clever, eh? Moving around to the side, you see these wheels, plastic wheel covers, worth another 5 miles or so of range.
That massive range requires the biggest battery, which is borrowed from the Peugeot 5008 and is just under 100 kilowatt hours. There's also a 74 kilowatt hour pack, which gives a 358 mile range. That's really competitive in terms of efficiency. There are 3 motor choices, 230 and 245 horsepower with front wheel drive, or a 350 brake horsepower twin motor version. The car will add another 30 horsepower on for short periods if you boot the throttle because you need to overtake or pull onto a motorway, say. That means 0 to 62 times of between 7.7 and 5.4 seconds. Now, DS know that's not Tesla worrying, but wanted to prioritise efficiency over outright performance, and it should be fast enough for most drivers. Charging? Well, that's not the fastest either, at a maximum of 160 kilowatt, but DS say it will hold that peak while charging from 20% to 55%. That results in a 27-minute time to get from 20% to 80%.
Look at the size of this. It's like it's going to take off. Or perhaps you could just kind of shelter underneath it in the rain when you're charging. So around here at the boot, it leaves you in no doubt what car this is. Oh, there's a little camera here, which is like a rear view mirror, so it doesn't matter so much that you haven't got a rear wiper. Open it up, electric of course. Now this is huge. The actual load space here is more than 1 metre deep. And underneath here, you've got some more space. Now this particular car has a big stereo, so there's a subwoofer here, but in lesser models, you get that as a complete space as well. There's 620 litres in there, and you can have an option of a spare wheel if you want, which is the sort of thing you used to get on cars, but they've disappeared. Another interesting part are these. Now this is called an air scarf, and it's a heater vent. So when it's cold in winter, you just get some nice air warming your neck and your ears. Now that apparently is enough to save 5 miles of range in winter because you won't want to use the whole heater system. You're just warming the bits of you that are cold. Clever, eh? So inside, it's just as crazy as the outside, really. I mean, just look at it. You've got all these different materials, these different swishy lights. Let's start over here. These lights here don't just give you a nice look. They're also a bit of a safety thing. So following cars or maybe a cyclist can see if you open the door too early. There's also some nice switches for things like the windows and some proper ones down here for the ventilation. Now, on this screen, you might see at the moment there's the massage function for the seats. Now there's a little bit of a problem with this particular car that they keep turning on again, so you might be able to hear that. But otherwise, it stretches over here enough for the passenger to be able to play with their heating controls if they want to, and there's a nice clock. There's also some really funky lighting behind here, and you can of course change the colour if you want to. Now, there's this kind of space arcade game pattern here too, and it's also in the speakers for the very funky stereo that they're quite proud of. Now these are sort of slightly hypnotic. They're just sort of telling you to buy the car. Generally, the materials are beautiful, as you'd expect. There is some, if you go down there and feel in the different places, like in the door pockets, where it feels a little bit down market perhaps. And this switch is, I think, the same one that you get in Citroen vans, but plenty of storage. Big storage thing down here as well, where you can fit an iPad apparently. And of course, it's incredibly comfortable. DS also say that this is the most refined car in the class, thanks to like acoustic glass and those aerodynamics, meaning it's going to be no wind noise and it's going to be super quiet. It's not just the charging flap that's big either. Look at the size of this door. It's huge, which is going to be practical if you want to get things in there, I suppose. But it's almost like a sort of chauffeur-driven limo, that the back door looks bigger than the front door. Now, this is the place where if you're the French ambassador or president, you'll be sitting. And are you going to be pleased with it back here? Well, I think you are. You've got all the nice materials, of course, and you've got this huge glass roof, which gives it a real airy feel. Now, these outer seats are obviously going to be much more comfortable than in the middle here, but there's no transmission tunnel because it's an electric car, so that's fine. You've also got controls for your heated seats and ventilated seats. I think it's the first car I've come across where you get ventilated seats in the back as well. Now, you get a decent view forward because of the shape of these front seats too. But what I will say is that the floor is very high, so my knees are kind of up here a bit, but there's a decent amount of room. It's a shame I can't get my feet under this front seat a little more though. Oh, headroom? Fine. Again, that's helped by this glass roof being here. There's no blind that goes across here, but it does have a special coating which is meant to keep it cooler in summer.
There is some other space age tech too, like active scan suspension, which uses cameras to scan the road ahead and spot when things are going to get rough. It then softens off the dampers in a fraction of a second to make it feel smoother. The cruise control also talks to the navigation, so it knows when you're approaching a roundabout or a sharp curve, and it will slow down automatically. Talking of navigation, it's all controlled via the 16-inch screen, which DS say is big and wide enough to be used by the passenger as well as the driver, which might cause the odd marital row. If you want to settle an argument though, the DS also has Chat GPT built in, so you can ask the car to search the internet and find the height of the spire of Salisbury Cathedral or anything else you want. Clever.
So what do you think of this French number 8? Do you love it, or do you have a wheat allergy? Some people will buy it because it looks so different to a Tesla or an Audi, and other people will buy it because it's got that incredible range and charging speeds. I think I love it. I think I'd have it for either of those reasons, but let me know what you think in the comments. Au revoir.